But welcome everybody. My name is Eleanor Traubman, and I write a blog called Creative Times. It's a blog for artists and entrepreneurs. And one of the things I do as a small business consultant is that I help artists and entrepreneurs use blogging as a tool to build relationships and build community. And the reason why I had you do that is because one of my personal mantras is that technology doesn't connect people, relationships do. So I'm going to say that again. Technology doesn't connect people, relationships do. And I think technology is an incredible tool, but it's really making those person-to-person connections that helps us remember each other's stories and what it is we can do with each other and for each other. So I was really excited to be asked to speak on this panel because I'm very passionate about the idea of using blogging as a tool for building relationships and building community. So when I first looked at the web page for this summit, I saw that one of the themes was sustainability. And I know that sustainability has to do with setting up our businesses in a way that is respectful of the environment, right? But another idea about the word sustainability came to my mind, which is, what is it that sustains us as business people and as entrepreneurs? What is it that keeps us going over the long haul? You know, what keeps us inspired? What keeps us motivated to keep going? What keeps us excited about the work that we do? And what keeps our work meaningful and relevant in times that change very, very quickly? So I'm going to go back to what I said at the beginning, which is technology is certainly part of the answer, and it's not the whole answer. Technology doesn't connect people, relationships do. So the question that I'm posing today is, how do you use technology to build the relationships that are the key to your success? How do you use technology to build the relationships that are a key to your success as a business person over the long haul? Blogging is one leg of social media, and I have personally found it a really, really powerful tool for building relationships with people and building community with people, and the kind of relationships that I know that I'll probably have for the rest of my life. So how do you use blogging as a tool for building relationships? So I write a blog. It's called Creative Times. It's a blog for artists and entrepreneurs. And one part of my blog is that I seek out other people who I think would be interesting to interview and post those people's stories on my blog. And so it's kind of like this wonderful passport for meeting people who I might see from afar and say to myself, wow, that's an incredibly interesting person. And it kind of gives me the courage to email or call that person and say, wow, I really respect your work as an author or an artist or a writer or a business person. Can I get together with you sometime and interview you for my blog? And let me tell you, very few people will pass down the chance to be interviewed, to be featured on somebody's website or blog. Some of the people who I've interviewed for my blog have become my clients. So that's kind of a nice thing to know. Some of them have become people who I consider to be advisors or mentors to me as a business person. Some of the people who I've interviewed for my blog have become collaborators with me in large events that I've organized. Those events have, in turn, led to greater visibility and credibility for both those folks who I've met through my blog and for myself. So it's always been a win-win situation. So I'm going to give you a specific example of that. About a year and a half ago, I interviewed somebody for my blog. His name is Pete Salamita. He's a dad of a young child. He's a baker, he's a DJ, and he started he started Little Buddy Biscuit Company, which is a baked goods company in Brooklyn. Because of the article that I did about Pete, Pete in turn became a client of mine. And I had the pleasure of helping him start his own blog, which is called Groovalicious in Brooklyn. He combines his love of cooking, music, social responsibility. Because of his blog, Pete now has this whole following of readers who share his passions, which are music and baking and parenting. And these people are literally waiting in their seats for the middle of the summer when Pete is going to open his bakery. So because of his blog, he now has a group of people who share his same passions, who are waiting for him to open his bakery. So Pete himself has become an example of how blogging builds community. How am I doing on time? Okay. So what's the other piece I wanted to say? The other powerful thing about blogging is that it's a powerful tool for building your community or who you would consider your team of people, right? It's like you've heard the saying, it takes a village to raise a child. Well, it also takes a village to raise an entrepreneur. Like, none of us can do this in isolation. And by community, I mean a community of people who are your customers, your clients, or people you collaborate with to do business or to organize projects. I personally think that the most powerful and effective community you create is the one you build around whatever you are passionate about. And Jennifer spoke about this a little bit, and another word for it is an affinity group. Because the internet can't provide leadership. Only people can do that. So there might be a group of people who you find on the internet who are interested in sustainable business, but that group is going to become a lot more powerful if somebody actually decides to lead that group, and that person could be you. When you take on the role of leading and connecting with others who share your interests, you raise your visibility, you raise your credibility as a business person, and most importantly, you're creating relationships that sustain you as a business person over the long haul. I'm going to give one concrete example of that. One way I've used my blog to build community is every year I organize an event that takes place here in Brooklyn called the Brooklyn Blog Fest. And literally hundreds of people who have blogs in Brooklyn, whether it's political blogs, arts-related, parent-related blogs, gather in the same place. Sometimes politicians come out. I'm one of the key people who organizes that event, and it's a really fun event. I mean, everybody comes together, people network, people share what they've been doing, and the benefits to me as an entrepreneur are twofold. One is I got to demonstrate my skills as a team builder, a facilitator, a community builder, and then I got to deepen my relationships with a group of about 12 people who had been planning this event for 5 months straight. And you know, even after BlogFest was over, like, I was helping those folks think about their businesses. They were helping me think about my business. So the relationship didn't just stop with the event, it's kept going. And some of those people I know will be like in my community, in my circle for life. So if there's two things that you remember from what I just shared is, one, to sustain ourselves as entrepreneurs, we need to build meaningful relationships, and we need to have community for ourselves as entrepreneurs, as business people. And two, a blog is a really terrific tool for building those relationships. Building community in a way that will raise your visibility, will raise your credibility, and in a way that will sustain the passion that you have for your work over the long haul. Thanks.